Man, it's the T-Train Show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up, Hot Rod? What up, L-Train? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Three to
Welcome to another edition of Three the Hard Way. No introductions needed, but I gotta formally introduce my fellas who are on the show with me every single week. First is the host of The Locker Room, the influencer, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What it be, Hot Rod?
What is going on, fellas? What is happening? Three the Hard Way Nation. You know who this is. It's your friendly neighborhood coach. And as I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And the captain of our ship, the man, if you go missing, he's going to put out a couple of APBs for you. The captain, Mr. Terrence Austin. What's going on, T?
What's going on, fellas, and what's going on, everyone out there at Three the Hard Way Nation? Let's get this ship underway. Let's get it going. Let's get it rolling.
All right, we're going to get this thing rolling, man. And right now, the Combine finished up this week. A lot of news coming out, you know, when it comes to the Combine. And people have been writing into me just trying to get a hold of what are the Cleveland Browns essentially looking for in the Combine. Who did they target? Who looked good to us? Fellas, Combine is come and gone. What are your thoughts about the Combine and the news that's coming out from the Cleveland Browns side of things?
I'll get it started because I know Rod was all over it because I listened to his show yesterday, his great show yesterday, because he touched on a lot of things. Two names came to mind for me, that Jeremiah Love kid from Notre Dame.
Stellar.
And although, yeah. And then also, although we're not looking for a quarterback, that quarterback from Arkansas, I can't think of his name, okay? Yeah, he looked good. Carnell Tate looked good too, from what I hear. The stud wide receiver for Arizona and USC didn't have a workout, okay? They didn't have a workout. But getting back to the Combine as a whole, we know what we need in Cleveland, okay? We need to rebuild our offensive line, and we need some wide receiver help. Now, how much of that will be picked in the draft will depend on what we do in free agency, what Andrew Berry does in free agency as far as, you know, making deals with other teams. And then, you know, come draft, we'll see what we can do. So that's an ongoing process. We know we need offensive line help, and we know we need wide receiver help, okay? But again, a lot of that will be based on, you know, what Andrew Berry and the organization does, you know, before that, prior to that, and then even afterwards. But I'm sure Rod was all over because, again, he spoke to it a little bit on the locker room on yesterday. So go ahead, Rod, add to, you know, what little I just said. Add to it.
So, first things first, there are a couple, the Buckeyes stood out.
They did.
Sonny Styles ran a sub 4.4 in the 40. His brother ran a 4.2 40. Then you had Arvell Reese at 240 pounds. He ran a sub 4.40. Just showing out. Buckeyes are showing out. Carnell Tate did pretty well. There's a couple guys, Caleb Banks from Florida, he's a D tackle. Couple edge rushers, David Bailey from Texas Tech. And then you had Malachi Lawrence from UCF. The tight ends, the DBs, the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, they ran yesterday. But in terms of the Browns, of course, they had conversation with Carnell Tate. They talked to Jordan Tyson. Now Jordan Tyson will probably do his pro day at Arizona State. A lot of these guys are going to do their pro days because it's controlled, and I understand that, you know. But there are a lot of dudes, and I watched a lot of good players at the Combine. There's some good players there. Now for the Browns, Maluga, who is the tackle for Miami, I didn't see him. I did see Spencer Fano, the tackle from Utah, and I did see Caden Proctor, the tackle from Alabama. Caden Proctor is humongous. That dude is like DeJuan Jones. Okay? I mean, he's huge. How do I think the Browns are going to go at this? I do think Carnell Tate is on their radar. I think Carnell Tate will be the number 6 pick, and I think they're probably gonna go Caden Proctor with number 24 because Fano and Maluga are not gonna be there unless they take him at 6.
Will Carnell Tate still be there at 6, Hot Rod?
Carnell Tate might be there at 6. Now,
I think he will be there. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what Andrew Berry is set up, though. I believe his plan B is if Jordan, Tyson's little brother, if he's not there, if Carnell Tate is not there, then I think that the Browns will try to trade down. I've said this on my show. I've said this before. I don't think I would draft a lineman at number 6. That's just me. I don't subscribe unless, like I said, they're Anthony Munoz or Orlando Pace. Now, Maluga, and then we got to look too many tweeners. Maluga is looked at as not just a tackle, but they're saying he could play guard. They're saying the same thing about Spencer Fano. He could play tackle or guard. I don't want that mixture. I want somebody who's going to play tackle for me. And right now, where it looks, it's Caden Proctor. Now, if like I said, if Tyson is not there, if Carnell Tate is not there, look for the Browns to trade down. Remember, the Dallas Cowboys been talking to him. Okay? Dallas has been talking to him about trading number 12 and 20 for number 6. Remember, Andrew Berry's a stockpile guy. If he can't get his guys in that number 6 spot, then look at Andrew Berry trading down and having 3 first-round picks, 12, 20, and 24. There's also another mix, another monkey wrench that could be thrown in there, and that's the safety from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They've talked about him, Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
They've talked about Caleb Downs. Now, Caleb Downs is a potential generational talent. I see a lot of Ed Reed
that you can't pass on. Because if he's there, not to cut you off, Rod, if he's there with my first pick, despite the needs that we need, offensive line and wide receiver, somebody that great when it's your first pick, you got to pick the best football player, and that's a guy you just can't pass on. I'm sorry, you can't pass on.
And I agree. However, we know our Cleveland Browns fan. Listen, if they picked up Caleb Downs, I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't be angry.
I'd be happy.
He's the best available player, but he's not going to fill your holes. The defense is fine, okay? However, you gotta fill them offensive linemen, and I believe that the Browns will do tackles in the draft, and they will fill guards during free agency. So, there's a lot there, but I really enjoy watching the combine. I enjoy these guys because it's some silent names in there. That some guys you're gonna see. But Sonny Styles was projected to be lower first round. Sonny Styles is now in the top 5 by his combine alone.
Gotcha. Okay.
Two
questions from our fans. I'm just looking through a lot of the emails, and I thought 2 questions came up. So, is quarterback completely off the table for the Cleveland Browns from round? Obviously, they're not going to go quarterback in the first round, but from round 1 through 7, will we see a quarterback drafted from the Cleveland Browns? And then the second question is from Shelly, Shaker Heights from Shelly, back near Warrensville. Okay, she asked, how is the salary cap going to affect the way the Cleveland Browns draft? Which I think is a good question.
Well, I'll answer the first part. Quarterback isn't a priority, okay? Yep. It's not a priority. You got Shador there. You got Watson there. Dylan Gabriel. He's there too, okay? So you got those 3. I don't expect him to hang around. But with Todd Monken, this week with everything I was listening to, I really think Todd Monken can be a guy that can get what little bit is left out of Deshaun Watson. I really, really feel that, okay?
Yeah.
I do, man, for some reason. I think I feel good that he's at the helm, that he's the guy that's going to take the lead in getting our quarterback room straight, okay? They still keep talking about these other guys that they may bring in, the guy from Indianapolis, the guy from Green Bay, even Kyler Murray name keeps coming up. I don't want to hear that. I think Monken can fix what we have in that room, including, getting, more out of Shador, giving, Shador the opportunity to make things right. So to answer that first part of that question, it's not a necessity. It's not a necessity because, again, that offensive line, needs help, and we need somebody for our quarterback, whomever that may be, to throw the ball to. That's what we need.
So uh I believe that in the lower rounds they're going to take a flyer on a quarterback. So don't be surprised. I've said this before. Don't be surprised if the Browns pick up Drew Aller out of Penn State. Like
Mhm.
I said,
I'm
Drew
okay with
Aller's
that.
6'6".
Down the line, yeah.
Drew Aller he has a cannon of an arm. They'll get him for next to nothing, and they can literally make him the developmental quarterback. That's if they keep Dylan Gabriel. If they do not keep Dylan Gabriel, then look at Drew Aller being the third quarterback. Okay. In terms of the salary cap, I'm gonna be honest with you. That is the most there is no salary cap. I'm gonna be honest with you. Andrew Berry has had an innate ability to be able to maneuver the salary cap
Yeah.
to kick the can down the road. Okay. So when it comes to drafting, these guys are going to be on rookie contracts anyway. So the Browns are not going to spend a lot of money. Okay. Um, the most that they're going to spend is going to be on Deshaun Watson, his contract, but they're not going to spend a whole lot because if you think about it, Carson Schwarzenegger is still on his rookie deal.
Hmm.
They got the only one that they have to sign um is Devin Bush.
Hmm.
Okay?
Hmm.
Because I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is done. I know he's been out here saying he's not, but there's not a doctor that's clearing Owusu-Koramoah. So Mason Graham is still on his rookie deal.
Hmm.
They still got guys on their rookie deals. Quinshawn Junkins, they're
Hmm.
all on their rookie deals.
Hmm.
So Andrew Berry's got some money to play with. So I'm not really concerned about the salary cap, so to say. Maybe during free agency, but you got to think all five linemen. If Joe Batonio retires, they don't have any money in the offensive line, so all those guys are retired. All those guys are
Right.
gone.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that's where Andrew Berry's shrewd enough. He's going to know what to do with that money.
Okay.
Listen, man, the name that keeps popping up during all of the week of the combine and the possible free agency, the name that keeps popping up is Kyler Murray. He's popping up with my hometown team, the Cleveland Browns, and he's popping up with the Minnesota Vikings. Give
Hmm.
me your thoughts about Kyler Murray, T number one, and then Hot Rod for my Minnesota Viking fans that watch Unconventional Playbook. I mean, he is right now the top guy that keeps being mentioned for the Minnesota Vikings. And I think it's going to get a little bit more intense if he gets cut. Right now, the Vikings would have to give up assets for him if the Arizona Cardinals wanted to bring him back. But give me your thoughts about Kyler Murray and Hot Rod. You being in Arizona, what
Yeah.
have you seen from this dude that makes him such a hot commodity?
Yeah. The only thing that strikes me that's negative about Kyler Murray is when they said he had to be micromanaged on putting in work, putting in film study, and not playing video games. Now, remember, again, when this kid came out of Texas, he was the best football player, slated that year he
Yeah,
came out. And that
good
says a
point.
lot coming out of
Good
Texas.
point. Yeah,
He
yeah,
plays hard. He plays hard. And if you look at his numbers, he's not that bad. He's not bad at all. Only thing, again, is his size. His size. He's so small, but he does work hard and he plays hard. And right now, he's better than anything that we have in our room. Okay, he's
yep,
better than anything that we have. And again, with Todd Monken being there, again, a guy who oversaw Lamar Jackson the past 3 or 4 seasons, I give him. I trust in him. I have trust in him. I have faith in him. But again, like I say, I'm okay with the quarterback room the way it looks right now. And even later in the draft, if we get the kid from, Penn State that's a local talent that's got size and somebody that you can build on, I'm okay with that as well. But yeah, Kyler's name keeps coming up, and there's football people in place that know a whole lot more about football than I do. So we'll see. But again, his size and then the fact that it's been, said and documented that, hey, you got to micromanage him. Just like when we were kids, somebody had to stand over me and make sure I did my homework. That's a grown man. I don't, I don't want that quality, coming my way.
Yep.
So my only pushback, Cap, is we already have a bite-sized quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We already have that.
Yeah.
We don't need another one. And then from a football standpoint, what's the thing about Kyler Murray that people love so much is because Kyler Murray is mobile. He's very mobile. He comes from a baseball background, so he can throw the ball. Okay,
yeah, he can.
But it's the baggage that comes behind him. Yes, he was the best player in Texas, which is big. But
Real
he
big.
couldn't beat out Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat out Baker Mayfield. So he backed him up. Okay? Then there's an issue between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. They had issues. Kyler Murray is a diva. That's what he is. Call it what it is. Minnesota, if he comes to Minnesota, you're going to have things in place to keep Kyler Murray under control. Kyler Murray looks at himself as a Patrick Mahomes kind of football player. He is not. He's not close.
Not even close to it.
So, Hot Rod, all of these things are these maturity issues, or is this just the personality of the player?
This is the personality of the player. This
all
is
wrapped
Kyler
up in
Murray,
one. All wrapped up in one.
Kyler Murray believes that he is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He believes the problem is the Arizona Cardinals. No, the Arizona Cardinals have stated the problem is Kyler Murray, period. So no matter where he goes, he's going to be a problem because he thinks he's the upper echelon of quarterbacks. He is a tier 2 quarterback. And I push back in saying that he's better than the quarterbacks that we have in the Browns locker room. He's not better than Deshaun Watson right now. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's a big statement, Hot Rod.
That's a big statement, Hot Rod. That's a big statement.
I don't think he's better than Deshaun Watson.
You're thinking of the old Deshaun. You're thinking of the old Deshaun, Hot Rod.
When Deshaun Watson is on his game, when Deshaun Watson gets out of
which we haven't seen in a while, which we haven't seen since that second half of the Baltimore game.
Deshaun Watson has the tools. You got to remember, even in with the Texans, he threw for over 4,000 yards. Now, was it during a garbage season? Absolutely. My thing is it was all mental with Deshaun Watson. It wasn't nothing physical.
I agree with you there.
Okay? But to say that Kyler Murray was better, Kyler Murray's done nothing. I watched when he was in the playoffs against the Rams, and all the Rams did was box him in. If you stop Kyler Murray from throwing, he ain't big enough to throw over his offensive line. That's why Cliff Kingsbury had to move the pocket because he couldn't see over it. So Minnesota Vikings fans, y'all are starting to become my second team. I love Minnesota, and it's because of L Train here and Unconventional Playbook. But I'm telling y'all right now, if you're going to take a flyer on Kyler Murray, you better make sure he comes in as a free agent or he's been cut, and you better put stuff in place for him not to try to take the organization over.
One more thing about Kyler Murray before you wrap this thing up. We don't want to turn this into a Kyler Murray podcast, but we're double dipping here because his name is being bantied about with the Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. How much of this, man, is organizational stuff? Because when's the last time the Arizona Cardinals has had a competent quarterback? When is the last time the Arizona Cardinals has done anything organizational-wise that has been successful? If we've learned anything about the NFL is how quarterbacks, once they get out of these bad organizations, they tend to do a little bit better, a.k.a. Sam Darnold leaving the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. How much of that do you put on the Arizona Cardinals? Or is it all like Kyler Murray? I mean, is this dude is just tainted goods, fellas?
Go ahead, Hot
No,
Rod. You're out there in Arizona.
no, I won't say Kyler Murray is tainted goods. Yes, is the organization partly to blame? Absolutely. The Arizona Cardinals out here, they are a dumpster fire. Okay? They are. That from top to bottom. All right? But watching Kyler Murray since he has been here, I haven't seen any quality that makes me say, "Hey, I can give Kyler Murray, top dollar."
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay? I haven't seen any now. With the staff that Minnesota has, could they bring something out of him? Every quarterback, sometimes you got quarterbacks who need a change of scenery. I
Yeah.
get that. Okay? But I just have seen the best and the worst of Kyler Murray out here. And my thing is, I can't decide what's best and what's worse.
Can
Yep.
y'all bring the best out of him, L Train?
Man, look, I don't know. I feel a little bit different. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would say yes. I was listening to all the hype of the quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell's rehab school, and the whole JJ McCarthy experience up here has tainted me on that. But I do think overall we have a pretty good coaching staff, and we've got weapons up here. We've got weapons. We've got a running game. We've got a pretty decent offensive line. I think we have a playoff caliber defense. So maybe Minnesota may be a breath of fresh air for Kyler Murray, and maybe the tutelage that he would get here if we tended to go that route may be better. My whole stance on Mr. Murray is this: if we have to trade for him, I'm out. I'm not willing to give up any assets for him.
Right.
If they cut him and he becomes a free agent and talks are like he would come in at the veterans minimum, I'm all in, because we got to put together a competitive quarterback room here in Minnesota to go with JJ McCarthy. That's the only way I'm all in on Kyler Murray. Just taking a flyer on him where we don't have to invest long term in him, so we can take a wait and see attitude for him. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
I know we're not betting men, fellas. We don't bet a whole lot on games and stuff like that. But Vegas came out with the over-under on the Cleveland Browns wins for next year. I wanted to talk to you guys about that. They had them 6.5. 6.5 wins. Do you see, are you picking the over on that, or are you picking the under on that?
I'm going to pick the over on that, and shame on them to do that before the draft and before, they see what we do in free agency. I think they're just looking at our schedule. I think they're just basing that on our schedule, which they're trying to say, we have an easy schedule next year. There's no easy schedule in the NFL, okay? It's tough to win in the NFL. But again, like I said, I think that's a little too premature based on, again, the draft hasn't gone down yet, and we haven't made any moves, So, but I'm a pick over on that. I am. I'm a pick over on that.
All right, so I have to take a deep breath on this one. I came out last year and said they were going to win 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Was I so sadly mistaken? But I am going to agree with Cap. I'm going to go the over on this.
Yeah.
Because I believe Todd Monken is going to walk in there, and between him and Andrew Berry, they're going to do I said this before, a soft rebuild. They're going to rebuild that offensive line. I think, and speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, there's rumors that the Browns have kicked the wheels on possibly trading for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And so if that's legit, it depends on what the Browns have to give up for Marvin Harrison Jr. I know there was they were talking to New Orleans about Chris Olave. Okay, go Bucks. But I'd rather take Marvin Harrison Jr. than Chris Olave, because Chris Olave is often injured. I also think that Marvin Harrison Jr. just needs a change of scenery.
He does.
Him and
He
Kyler
does.
Murray did
He
not
does.
get along at all.
Right.
And I think, and if you were to land a Marvin Harrison Jr. with a Jerry Jeudy on the other side, where the load is not on Jeudy, where you take Isaiah Bond, you put him at the slot receiver to take the top off. Then you have Harold Fannin Jr. with a rebuilt offensive line with a healthy Quinshawn Junkins, and whether it's Deshaun Watson or Shador, I'm going to over on that. I'm going to go over on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I meant Isaiah Bond, not Cedric Tillman. I meant Isaiah Bond.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, looking at it early, I think Vegas like to put these things out without free agency and without the draft.
Yes,
To
premature.
try to get some of that early money. They're trying to get some of that early money. They know 6.5
Yeah.
is low, so they're trying to get a
Yeah.
lot of the Browns fans and people that follow the Browns to kind of buy in on that. Right now, I would go more than the 6.5. I think the Browns are going to be a little bit better team in that. I think the defense, and here's a scary thought. I think the defense is actually may be a little bit better next year just with the pieces that they can add. And now I feel like they have a competent head coach, no matter what you think about Monken. You guys know how I felt about the last head coach we have. I can't even mention his name anymore. But the guy that we have now, Monken, is going to come in, and I think he's gonna be the Alka-Seltzer to an upset stomach. He is going to calm things down.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He is going to calm things down, and I think that's going to have residual effects to the Cleveland Browns coming in every Sunday and playing some good football. So
Yeah.
I like to move. But we got to keep our eyes on the Cleveland Browns because I think this is an exciting time for us. This team can go a lot of different ways. I agree with Hot Rod. I think it's going to be a competitive rebuild, more so than stripping this thing down to the struts and kind of rebuilding it that way. So I like what the Cleveland Browns are doing. Let's transition to the NBA.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, we speculated that there may be some bumps in the road, and this past week, there's been a lot of bumps, injuries, and stuff like that. James Harden is now back today. Cavs get the win today. But give me your impressions overall about what's been going on with the Cleveland Cavs.
I'll kick it off. They had a 3-game road trip. Okay, Milwaukee, Detroit, and then finishing today in Brooklyn. Now, going back to Friday night, I tell you, I was so upset after that game. Fellas, that game reminded me of Game 2 last year in the playoffs against Indiana, okay? How down the stretch, we just crashed and burned, all right? Now, the other night, and I'm sure Hot Rod is going to address it. Well, I know he is. The other night, being up by 5 or 6 points with 2 minutes left and then, losing the game. Now, at the very end, we had a 3-point lead, and analytics clearly says I think the record is 95-2, that when you're ahead by 3 and the other team has the ball, you immediately foul. Okay. Now I understand that and I agree with that. However, that foul wasn't executed properly. Okay. Because, our guy fouled him a little too late and allowed him to get in a shooting motion. Okay, where he sank those 3, free throws to tie in the very end. At that point in time, I wish we would have just played it out. Okay, Cade Cunningham had already fouled out. There was no Duncan Robinson on the floor. Detroit is an awful shooting team. They're a team full of who was the guy that we just let go from that couldn't shoot? The guy that we just released. That Ball got on last week.
Ball.
That team is full of Alonzo Balls. They can't shoot a lick. Okay, I do not fear Detroit. I do not. Okay, because we took them to the wire the other night and we should have won that game. Okay, without our 2 main starters on the floor. So again, Detroit, you do not scare me. And when we play them Tuesday night, we're going to hand you your butts. We're going to hand you y'all behind. But again, getting back to that play, I wish they wouldn't have fouled him. I wish they would have just let it play out. But again, you go with the analytics, and the analytics say foul, in that, and when you have that scenario in front of you. But again, like I say, we fouled the guy. I think a screen blocked him from getting to him, soon enough. And then he was already in the shooting motion, and he sank those 3 free throws. And after that, I didn't even watch overtime. I was fuming, man. I was really, really hot because, again, we let that one get away from him. We let that one get away from us. Okay, we bounced back tonight to a Brooklyn team that is tanking. They're not trying to win, but they fought us the whole way. James Harden came back and played. He started off the game being his usual James Harden self, feeding, players. I think he finished with double-digit assists, 22 points in 36 minutes. So, we bounced back. So that was a 3-game, a 3 road game, rough skid. But we finally won one in the end. But I like the way our team is playing. Evan Mobley got to get better at the free throw line too, because he missed some key free throws in tonight's game. Okay, so Evan, you got to get better at the free throw line, at the charity stripe. But Friday night, getting back to Friday night, that's what playoff basketball looks like, and that's what is going to be ahead. And, I think our young guys learned something from that the other night. I'm sure they still have a bad taste in their mouth from that, and they're going to get Detroit back when we play them on Tuesday. So that's my take. But I hated that loss, man. I do. I hated it because we had that team on the ropes, had them on the ropes.
So for me, it's like I understood what Kenny Atkinson said after the game against Detroit. He said there's no such thing as moral victories. But to me, there's such thing as mental victory. And so for me, watching that game, um, the Cleveland Cavaliers matched their intensity, they matched their physicality.
They sure did.
Without Dean Wade, this was without Keon Ellis, this was without Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. They matched the energy, they matched the physicality. Jarrett Allen is playing out of his mind right now.
He's playing some good basketball.
Yeah, he is.
Excellent basketball. Evan Mobley, as much as I roll Evan Mobley, there's just the only thing that bothered me against the Pistons is that final shot. Evan Mobley is the last person that I wanted to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
He was 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. My problem, as I've always said, is Evan Mobley falls in love with the 3-point shot when he makes it.
Yeah.
To your point, I understand what you're saying when it came to Jalen Tyson and that foul. But to me, in that situation, the officials know this. They know that foul is going to take place because it was only 6 seconds left. Now, could they have just let the play run? Possibly. They could have. But I think the Cavaliers sent a message. They're not afraid of the Detroit Pistons. I think the Pistons were smelling themselves because they just came off beating Oklahoma City, of course, without Williams and without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But the Cavs, to an extent, they let it slip away. I think Dennis Schroeder tried to do too much in the fourth quarter and overtime. He tried to do a little bit too much, got caught up. Craig Porter Jr. passed up a couple shots that he should have taken. But overall, I think J.B. Bickerstaff and the Detroit Pistons know they're going to have a problem if they see the Cavaliers in any series. There's going to be a huge problem. And so I still say to this day, Kenny Atkinson is moving in super genius mode. He's not concerned about winning the regular season, being number one at the end of the regular season. His mindset is these guys going into the playoffs healthy, and they're in the top 3, where he has home court advantage throughout the playoffs. I think that's Kenny Atkinson's focus. I don't think he's focused on anything else. So that's what I'm riding with right now, okay? And they do have Detroit on Tuesday, and I'm sure Donovan will be ready for that one. I don't
will.
If that's going to be another ESPN or Peacock game.
I think it will.
But I know Donovan will be back. James Harden has come back. Keon Ellis, they're coming back. So watch what happens against Detroit in Cleveland. Watch.
Any concern, fellas, if this were to happen where the Cavs were to face the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs? J.B. Bickerstaff's a little motivated to beat the Cavaliers. That will be an emotional series. You're talking about an organization that jettisoned him away, replaced him with the current head coach. And ever since JB has been with the Detroit Pistons, that organization has started to ascend where they weren't before. Any concern just about the emotional motivation from Detroit and JB Bickerstaff in a series like that?
Well, of course, he's going to be motivated, okay? But JB ain't going to be on the court, okay? He's going to be on the sideline running his mouth, hollering and yelling, complaining about every play, okay? Hey, we'll get a couple of technicals out of him. But, yeah, you're right. Now, again, don't get me wrong. That Detroit team is tough. They're physical. But, again, like I say, they do not scare me. They do not scare me one bit because, again, we let that game slip away. We do. We did, okay? The only team that I am really concerned about in the East is the Boston Celtics because of the way they shoot that three. and also too how well they're coached. And if Tatum comes back, again, although he'll be in a limited role, that's another angle right there. Okay, so again, like I say, getting back to that Detroit team, Cade Cunningham is a baller. Duncan Robinson, can shoot the three, but he's feast or famine. He's hot or cold. But as a whole, like I say, they showed themselves the other night, and Cleveland should have won that game. And again, like I say, another thing too, and I'm sure Hot Rod will touch on it, is the officiating. We got to play them, and we got to go against the officials who are terrible. Okay, all the officials need to be in boot camp and 2 and 3 a days. Okay, they do, because they're awful. But that team, they do not. I do not fear them. And yeah, JB will be motivated, but JB ain't on that floor.
JB Bickerstaff can be as motivated as he wants. All the Detroit Pistons remind me of is the Cleveland Cavaliers when he coached them. That's it.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Because
there you go.
they're tough-minded. They're very intense. They play team basketball. But remember, JB Bickerstaff's Achilles heel was the playoffs. And his rotations in the playoffs. He would not play younger guys. Okay?
Right.
He was just trying to play veterans. That's why he's got Karis LeVert on the bench. He wants to play veterans. He doesn't. Cade Cunningham is a stud. But if you take away Cade Cunningham and Jaden Duren, they have nothing other than maybe Asheer Thompson, the Thompson twin. I like that young man. He plays hard. But if you take them three guys away, the Pistons are nothing. They have nothing. They are a horrible shooting team. And, they don't really have anything. They're doing it, and and JB has done a fabulous job. JB
yes.
Here in the Eastern Conference. He should be. He turned around a Detroit Piston team that was terrible. That's not going to equate in the playoffs to me. Okay? When it comes to being afraid of the Boston Celtics, I'm be honest with you. I ain't afraid of them. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not afraid of them. It's Jaylen Brown is playing all world right now.
Yes.
Pritchard, all world right now. Okay? Tatum is coming off an Achilles tendon injury. How much is he going to be effective coming back from
Not until next year. Not until next year.
Right.
So he's not going to be effective. So I'm not afraid. There is no one in the Eastern Conference that I am afraid of. Not Orlando with Paolo Banchero. The Milwaukee Bucks are a dumpster fire. Philadelphia, Paul George has been suspended. Tyrese Maxey has been carrying them.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is still out of shape. I'm not afraid of any team in the Eastern Conference. Now that we have James Harden, now that we have Keon Ellis, and now that we have Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
When Schroeder and Ellis are on the floor, with those guys defensively are just absolutely suffocating. And you add Tomlin to them, man. So I don't think Kenny Atkinson has shown the entire repertoire. I think he's just trying to finish the regular season. And I'm telling you, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a team that you do not want to see in the playoffs, especially the way Jarrett Allen is playing right now. You don't want to see them.
Yep.
Yeah, two of the best segments that we have in sports is Caps, APBs, and Hot Rod's coaches call out. I think this is the perfect time to transition into Hot Rod's coaches call out, just because we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers in previous games. Hot Rod,
get your whistle, Hot Rod. Get your whistle.
Man. It's all yours, Hot Rod.
So check this out. I just came across after the Pistons game that the NBA came out and said the officials made a mistake. They blew some calls.
Not the officials.
Batman. We knew that. We watched the game. But here's my issue, and I'm calling out the NBA officials. We got the challenge system where you get 2 challenges. After your challenges are done, you can't challenge anymore. But what do is that the officiating crew is so horrible that you have to use both challenges. There's got to be an accountability system for the official, period. So when I know officials by their first name, Tony Brothers, when I know officials by their first name, Natalie Seeger, when I can name an official by their first
That
name,
ain't good. That ain't
that's
good.
not good. So my thing is this: there needs to be an accountability system for NBA officials. What are there? There are a couple that you can do. You can give another challenge to the teams. If they have to challenge more than twice and use that third challenge, then the officials should be fined. If that does not work, then what you do is that every 2 minutes at the end of each quarter, if there is, like they do in the NFL, if there is a controversial play, then the replay booth replays it and they can overturn it. You have to stop poor officiating. It is horrible. And I know people will come and say, well, you just saying that because the Cavs, lost to Detroit. No, I'm saying it because I see it around the league the entire season. Is I see poor officials, and L Train said it the best, and I love it. Let's start having the officials have a press conference. Come up and explain that horrible call that you made in the fourth quarter of a playoff game that cost the team a game. I'm tired of these NBA officials coming on, feeling that they can make these calls and then getting butt tickled when you got players that's coming at them saying how horrible the calls are. I'm a former high school basketball coach, and I have rolled officials.
But
just to come over and say, hey, I missed that one. Okay, that's the one you missed. Don't miss no more. And so I'm just tired of seeing it. And I know that the NBA is doing this because of the Tim Donahue, the gambling scandal and all that, and they're going to protect their officials. Stop throwing that trash out there. Go into college, get you some officials that's going to call the game straight down the middle. But that game against the Pistons was horrible because the Cavaliers had every opportunity to win that game. Jarrett Allen should have never fouled out. Kenny Atkinson should not have had to use both of his challenges because of the horrible officiating. I'm telling you, you're out of bounds. Out of bounds. And I'm tired of seeing it. And that's my coach's call out.
Coaches
call out.
Hey, Hot Rod, one thing, man. Can you just come with a little bit more energy next time in your segment?
Yeah, just a little more, man.
Drink some coffee.
Yeah, you're a little too flat, man. You're a little too flat.
Have a Monster or something,
yeah,
man.
Open up a little bit.
Bring a little bit more energy.
Bring a little more energy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, great coaches call out by the man.
Hot
Rod. Woo! You can get more of that. You can get more of that on the locker room. If tune into the locker room, you'll get a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Fellas, with all the stuff going on, man, you look at a lot of the teams that are currently constructed and a lot of things that have happened in the NBA and the NFL. And I try to come with some scenarios like, man, what if this one thing wouldn't have happened? Where would teams be right now? So I got a couple of what ifs that I just want to get your takes on right now. You've got my first one is this. You've got Kevin Durant, who is playing for the Houston Rockets, fellas. Did you ever think about what if Kevin Durant had never left OKC to go to the Golden State Warriors? Now, obviously, OKC has rebuilt their team. They won the championship last year, but they had James Harden and Russell Westbrook on that team. Like, you ever think about what if KD had never left?
They were young then, okay? They were young. When they went up against that Miami team in the finals, they went to South Beach, 3 young guys on South Beach. That'll distract me even at my old age. So that was such a distraction. How could those guys be focused down there? Okay. How could they be focused? But to answer your question, he had to leave. The bigger question for me is, let's say had he never left Golden State, they may have won a couple more championships, had he not left Golden State. But no, L Train, KD from Seat Pleasant, Maryland, up there in the DMV, one of the greatest things that came out of that area in basketball. He had to leave. Okay. He had to leave. Now again, he's never really been a leader of a team, winning the championship. Of course, that was Steph's team, but he was the best player on that team, okay? Kevin Durant. He was the best player on that team. And then they almost did some in Brooklyn. When he, Kyrie, and James Harden were together, they were, playing great. And then I forgot who was the first one who requested a trade, and then that thing, broke up. But yeah, he had to get out of OKC. He had to.
Hot Rod, go ahead, give your take. I gotta put a plug in the back of my computer really quick. Go ahead.
Okay, got it. So here's if Kevin Durant does not leave OKC, of course we can go ahead and say, well, then you wouldn't have had a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or a Lou Dort. You wouldn't have, as the team is currently constructed. I believe that Sam Presti gave up on that team, that Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook team. I think he gave up on them. I think,
Okay.
and of course, because they were a small market team, I think Presti realized that he couldn't afford it.
Right.
But I would have loved to see that play out. If guys would have just taken maybe some pay cuts, if they would have just, sacrificed a little bit, I think that Oklahoma City team with Kevin Durant would have won a championship eventually. I just believe that, with Kevin leaving, you said it the best. If he would have stayed with Golden State, who knows how many championships Golden State had. But the problem with Kevin Durant is the most sensitive superstar in the history of sports.
Yes, sir.
Him and Draymond Green fell out, so he felt the need to leave. No. Me and Draymond would have hashed it out because we'd have continued to win championships.
Yep, exactly.
And that's why Kevin Durant will go in first ballot Hall of Famer, all-time great, but his ego stopped him from winning championships because he's not going to win one in Houston. Even though they're a good basketball team, he's not going to win one in Houston. And a lot of that is due to Kevin Durant's ego.
Okay. Great takes. Fellas, I got another one for you. Kyrie and LeBron. What if Kyrie and LeBron had never split, fellas?
Yeah. I tell you, and I hated that. And I hated the way that Kyrie departed. And, he kind of took a shot, at the fans. But all of that is water under the bridge because he's, redeemed himself. He said he's sorry. He came back. I think the last time he came back, he they gave him a great highlight reel. And then I think I forgot who he was with, but a couple of days after the last time he was in Cleveland, he hung around a couple of days and went, in the community and did some stuff with kids. So I love Kyrie. Even still to this day on my phone, if you call my phone, I got the Mike Breen call on my phone, the ringtone, where Kyrie dropped that 3 in Steph's mouth in 2016 that led to us winning the championship. So Kyrie is my guy. Again, I wish he hadn't have left. And he said that, again, he was a little, immature at that time. And he realized, the role that LeBron played and what, the weight of, the everything LeBron had on his shoulders. So he just said, hey, that was young and immature of me, but that's, water under the bridge now. And, they've made amends and he's made amends and he'll never have to buy a meal in Cleveland ever, going forward.
So Kyrie was Mamba mesmerized. That's the only way I can put it. He was Mamba mesmerized because he loved Kobe so much.
That he did.
We believe that conversation took place between him and Kobe after they won the championship. And Kobe said, do you want to continue to be number 2 or be Robin to his Batman? Or would you rather have your own? And so Kyrie said he wanted to beat LeBron. He didn't want to win with LeBron, and he was young. He wanted to beat LeBron. That's a Kobe Bryant-ism.
Yeah.
That's Kobe. Okay? And so he went to Boston. He was the man in Boston. You see how far Boston went. Now he had a young Tatum. He had a young Jaylen Brown. Okay, at the time. Then, he's in Dallas now, but he's older. Now, do I believe that the Cavaliers would have won more championships if Kyrie would have stayed with LeBron? Possibly.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see them run it back at least one more year. I would have loved to see that Richard Jefferson, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Channing Frye, those guys run it, Kevin Love, one more time to see if they could do it. Kyrie stole that from us because he wanted to be the man. And then when Kyrie left, LeBron was right behind. But I believe if they'd have stayed together, we could be looking at not necessarily a dynasty, because Golden State was pretty good, but we could have seen it 3 or 4 championships.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Last one, fellas. What if the Browns had never left in 1995?
Wow.
You see what the Baltimore
man.
Ravens are now.
Yeah,
Baltimore Ravens
yeah,
got the Super
exactly.
Bowl. Really, really
Yeah.
good franchise. What if?
Yeah. Man, I tell you, and that was painful. That was
Yeah.
painful. And even when I reflect back on that still is painful. Especially when I watch the ESPN 30 for 30 on Believe Land. That takes me back. But yeah. What if we would have never left? Because again, after they left, within a couple years, that Cleveland Browns / Baltimore Ravens team was, in the Super Bowl. So
That
yeah,
hurt.
we were right there. We were right there. So I try not to, think back on that. And when I reflect back again, you all heard me say my favorite quarterback back in the day was Brian Sight,
Yep.
and then, on came, Bernie Kosar. But I remember Cleveland football when it was good. I remember those games down at Municipal Stadium under Coach Sam Ratigliano, and who's the other coach that came after with the late Marty Schottenheimer. Those were my Browns. Okay, those were my Browns, and even to this day, they're still my team. I don't root for players. Again, I want the best quarterback under center, going forward. So that's how I reflect back, think back. But man, yeah, had we never left, history would be a little different. Just like I always say, had, those players, black players, been allowed to play, with the white boys back in the day, if there was no Negro League, you'd have to rewrite history as far as who's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's like that.
So if the Browns would have stayed, can you imagine Ozzie Newsome would have been the GM after he retired?
Yeah.
You imagine that his first round draft pick would have been somebody by the name of Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Yep.
Okay. I wasn't, what hurt me more, it wasn't that Art Modell left. It was that Ozzie Newsome went with him.
Yep.
That hit me real hard when, and to see Rob Burnett in a Ravens uniform. What I mean? That crushed me. But I just believe that fortunes probably would have been different. In terms of Cleveland. I'm not gonna sit up here and say we would have won the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say that. But it would have been nice to see a Ray Lewis in a brown and orange, to see a McAllister in a brown and orange, to see Rod Woodson come over to Cleveland. You know what I mean? To see that, to see Dion, come over instead of going to Baltimore, coming to Cleveland. It would have been nice to see that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But we're Browns fans, and that's all we're doing was wishing.
Yeah.
That's it.
What if, fellas?
Yep.
What if?
If was the fifth, we'd all be drunk.
That's right. That's right. I believe it's my week for start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. And I've got a pretty good one this week, fellas. This one is going to be best case scenario. Best case scenario. So I'm going to give you a scenario. You've got to figure out whether you want to start it, you want to bench it, you want to cut it, you want to erase it.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
This is a good one. I think this is going to get you thinking a little bit. Okay. Derrick Rose. What if Derrick Rose had been healthy his whole career? So a healthy Derrick Rose. My next one is Andrew Luck never retiring. Andrew Luck, the quarterback for the Colts, never retiring. Next one is Bo Jackson never getting injured. never having that hip injury. Bo Jackson. And last but not least, Michael Jordan never retiring in 1993. A healthy Derrick Rose. Andrew Luck never retires. Bo Jackson, injury-free Bo Jackson, and Michael Jordan never retiring in 1993. Start one, bench one,
Wow.
cut one, erase one.
Wow. Wow.
You want
Okay,
to be
let me
first?
go. Let me go.
Okay.
Let me go. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. If Michael Jordan never would have retired in 93, I tell you, I'm going to start that one. I'm going to bench the great Bo Jackson, okay? If
Yeah.
he would have never gotten hurt. I'm going to cut D Rose if he would have stayed healthy. And it was tough. Andrew Luck, I'll have to put last and erase that. If he would have, what was it with Andrew Luck? Him never retiring. Yeah, and he retired because he was just tired of being hurt.
Yep.
I tell you, I just loved his size.
Yep.
Andrew Luck. I mean, he was the perfect specimen for a quarterback. But yeah, that's mine. MJ, Bo Jackson, D Rose, and Andrew Luck. Wow.
All right. Hot
Hey,
Rod, what do you got?
Cap, I got to agree with you. I got the same exact thing.
Wow.
Michael Jordan
Wow.
starting, if he would not have retired,
Yeah.
champion, we could possibly be talking about Michael Jordan in the same vein as Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bo Jackson, not having a hip injury.
Yep.
He was already headed to the Hall of Fame. I think
he was.
Jackson would have been the all-time leading rusher if he would not have gotten hurt. We wouldn't be talking about Emmitt Smith.
Nope. You're right.
Derrick Rose, if Derrick Rose would have stayed in Chicago his whole time and not got hurt, Derrick Rose, okay, they just hung his number in the rafters.
Yes, sir.
A healthy Derrick Rose was an absolute problem.
Yep.
And then finally, Andrew Luck. The reason I threw Andrew Luck at number 4, it wasn't Andrew Luck, so to say, but it was the team that they had around him.
Right.
I don't think Andrew Luck would have won anything, and I think Andrew Luck saw that and was like, I'm not going to constantly, because he was leading them in being sacked. So I think his mindset was, I'm not going to keep getting pounded. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm not going to get killed back here. I'm not going to end up in a wheelchair. I'm not going to end up in a wheelchair. Yeah.
He's doing well now. I think he's a coach at Stanford, his alma mater. He's doing well there. So, but yeah, that's my 4: Jordan, Jackson, Rose, and Luck.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Great minds think alike.
Great. Yeah. Great minds think alike.
Let's see what you do, L Train. Let's see what you do.
Hey, man, I had Jordan never retiring as a start. I had Bo Jackson, injury-free Bo Jackson. I agree with everything Hot Rod said about that. I would bench that. I would cut Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was electric, dynamic, and you knew he was probably going to have injury issues just because of the way he played. He was so explosive and kind of reckless at times. And then I would erase Andrew Luck, fellas. So I'm right in concert with my fellas.
Once
on
again,
this one.
3 the hard way.
Yeah.
In unison.
Jordan, Bo Jackson, Derrick Rose, Andrew Luck. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. Nice takes, fellas.
Wow.
Nice take.
Great takes. Okay.
All right, it's time for our parting shots. Fellas, what do you got?
Okay, I'm going to be real quick. The USA women's hockey team declined a trip to the White House, and people want to beat them up behind that, saying that they should think more about the office itself instead of the person in the office. But that's their decision, and I'm okay with it. That's their decision. I'm okay with it. They say, hey, thanks, but no thanks. We don't want to go. So, hey, that's their call. So I'm okay with that.
All right, good one.
So for me, my parting shot, I'm going back to the NBA. And here we go. This situation, and we talked about it on the show, but this situation in tanking. Watching these teams tank and just the egregious nature of how they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I need the NBA to fix this. The NBA right now is a broken system. They think they're wide open and they're worldwide, and they probably are, but the system is broken. And people are finding loopholes to get around this system. I'm not spending my hard-earned money to come watch backup guys and G League dudes playing.
Because it's expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah, because you're trying to get the number one pick, and it probably won't even come to you. So I need the NBA to address this. Yes, I'm going after the NBA today. I need y'all to address this because I'm tired of seeing these. And Richard Jefferson said it, and I'll quote it again. He said, the way you stop it is you give every team one ping pong ball, regardless of their record. That will stop tanking. At least be competitive while you're tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's my take. NBA, come on, man.
Yeah.
National Bum Association, that's what it's turning into. Let's go.
Great parting shot, man.
Yeah.
My parting shot this week, fellas. I watch. It's high school playoffs up here in Wisconsin. All right, one of the best teams in the state is Columbus Catholic. One of the best teams in the state. They were playing a public high school named Purcell. And Purcell didn't have a chance. If you guys know anything about Columbus Catholic High School, they are power, and Purcell is just, kind of unknown public school. Well, Columbus Catholic, number 1 ranked team in the state. Purcell, not ranked at all, but somehow, some way, fellas, Purcell found a way to have the lead at the end of the game by 1 point. It was about 6.5 seconds left to go in the game. Columbus Catholic had to push the ball up the floor, full court, and try to score within 6 seconds. Well, Columbus inbounded the ball, gave it to their best player, their point guard. She dribbles up the floor, goes in, tries to make a layup. Credit to Purcell. They made it tough on her. She misses the layup, and the ball goes out of bounds with 0.1 second left on the clock. 0.1 second.
No time.
No time left. So, of course, the Purcell coaches and their players, they see the missed shot. They see the clock running down. So they think they've won the game. What do? They come off the bench and they celebrate. Their coaches celebrate, but there's 0.1 seconds left on the clock. So the Columbus Catholic fans are tee 'em up. They came on the court, tee 'em up, pressuring the referees. Well, the referees congregated in the middle of the floor for about 2 minutes. The head referee goes to the scorer's table, and he makes the tech sound, the tech sign. Columbus Catholic then comes. Now, this would have been one of the biggest upsets ever, fellas, if you see where I'm going. Columbus Catholic comes to the free throw line, makes the first free throw, ties the game up, makes the second free throw to win the game. Now, my question is, I understand what the rules are and how the referees have to enforce the rules. But what an unfortunate way for a school that could have had the biggest win in their school history. It would have been the biggest upset up here to get that taken away from them because their kids thought that there was no time left on the clock. And fellas, it wasn't like it was 2 or 3 seconds. It was 0.1 second. In all my years of coaching, I've been coaching for 30 years. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. And to see the tears on those kids' eyes.
I can only imagine.
The coaches, the seniors on that team, the parents, man, that was
they'll be traumatized the rest of their life.
Oh,
I'm real. I'm a counselor. They'll be traumatized the rest of their life.
Now, I have to share this with you, and I'll make it real quick. My first year at Viterbo, we ran the table and made it all the way to the conference championship. First time in school history. One of my players hit a shot. About 0.3 seconds left to go. Our bench cleared because they thought we had won. We hadn't won yet. There was time left on the clock. Referee gives us a tech. But in this point in time, the lady for the other team, she missed one of the free throws. So instead of beating us, we had to go into overtime. So we didn't lose the same way, but it's kind of the same scenario. So unfortunate way for Pacelli to lose that game. I felt for him. Number one, I went through it. And number two, just a bad way for their fans, their community to lose that game.
Wow.
Unfortunate, man. That's my parting shot.
That is horrible. That reminds me of, remember when Dwayne Rudd took his helmet off at the end of the game? In that Browns game? Yeah. Oh, man.
That could be a start one, bench one, cut one, erase one, the most egregious losses in the history of sports.
My goodness. Wow. And getting back to that scenario you just spoke to, man, again, those kids, that they'll be, man. Yeah, they'll be. But, I also see there's something in that, too, that'll give them strength to be great going forward. That may be a part of the story that's still not finished yet because they're kids. That's gonna work for the better on the other side of it. I have to feel that way. You have to think.
I agree.
But for me, let the kids decide the game.
That gets back to you and this poor refereeing.
Exactly.
It gets back to you and that poor refereeing.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You made the game about you as the official. You made that game about you. That game was not about you. These kids competed.
And y'all stole that from them. Y'all stole that from them. Yeah, the referees, y'all stole that from them.
To me,
stolen from those kids
that wanted him to get a technical foul, that's soft. You lose.
Yeah.
That's soft to me. We'll tee them up because they ran on the floor. Now, an experienced official was saying, come on, they thought the clock ran out. Here, we'll give you 0.2. We'll let you get the ball on the sideline. There you go. That's soft.
My only problem with that whole scenario is not the referees. I mean, they got to enforce what the rule books tell them to enforce. My problem was exactly what Hot Rod said. I didn't like the other team campaigning to get that.
To
get that technical foul, man.
That's soft.
That was a sucker move. That was.
That was.
Wow.
Fellas, another great show, man. Another great show. I appreciate you. Any last words for the Three the Hard Way audience?
Hey, Three the Hard Way audience, tell a friend about us. Tell a friend about us, whether you like Cleveland sports or not. If you just like to hear three guys talk sports, no matter who you root for, come on in and check us out.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you guys know, don't be soft like that one team and try to politic for a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Please hit that like and subscribe button, man. We're growing. We're almost to 500 subscribers. We would like to be over that hump by the end of this month. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Hit that like and subscribe button, man. Put your thoughts in the comments. Talk to Hot Rod. He's not afraid of the smoke. He always says that.
Sure ain't.
Send whatever you want to send to T and myself, and we will make sure to answer your back, man. Three the Hard Way, fellas. I appreciate you.
Another great show. Y'all fellas have a good week. Have a great week.
See you next week.
Have a great week.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.